Hello bookish people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan. In today's video we're going to be doing my book of the month predictions for November 2022. Ideally I would be filming this once they posted their in-app hint or their in-app spoiler where they show the cool little graphic and then you kind of guess what book it is going to be based on that, but they just haven't done it yet for November and it's October 20th. I want to get this video up, so I'm gonna wait to upload this for like a day or two, and if they upload it then I'll insert a different clip of me kind of going over it and what I think the hint means. But if not, these are my predictions for November of 2022, so let's get into them. First we are going to start with romance, my personal favorite category. I only have 2 selections this month for romance, so let's get into those. The first one is called Better Than Fiction by Alexa Martin. So in this book, you're following our main character, Drew and Jasper. So Drew has inherited her grandmother's bookstore after her grandma's passed away, but Drew is not a reader. And the synopsis, it literally says that she prefers books to movies to books. She thinks the movies are always better. Like, bitch, what? Bitch, who are you? What? How is this our main character of a book? Because every like a love interest in a book or every like female main character loves books, and this is interesting because she doesn't like books, which I kind of love about that. Then we have our love interest Jasper. So they meet because she runs a bookstore. Jasper's a best-selling author and he goes there to do a book signing. They get to talking and he writes her out a book bucket list saying, these are all the books I think you should read. In exchange for this, I want you to come with me and we're going to travel around Denver and we're going to do some research for the book that I'm writing. That just sounds like such a fun time, and like honestly, like who is this man? Like he's definitely fictional. Like, what man writes you a list of books he thinks you should read and then just like takes you around Denver to like all these cool places and it's like, let's do research? Like, sounds like a dream come true. So there's this book. I really hope this gets a selection. This is more of a hopeful than I actually think it'll be picked, but it's a selection. The next romance book I think could potentially be the pick is The Rewind by Allison Wynne Scotch. Now I'm just gonna read you the blurb from Goodreads because I don't think I could describe this book better myself, but it says 2 exes wake up together with wedding bands on their fingers and no idea how they got there. They just have one New Year's Eve at the end of 1999 to figure it out in this big-hearted and nostalgic rom-com from best-selling Times New York author Allison Wynne Scotch. Does that not sound like a fun time? 2 exes wake up together with wedding bands on their fingers and no idea how it happened. I'm not a second chance romance person. This is obviously what this is alluding to, second chance romance, but the premise sounds super cute. So honestly, even though I don't love second chance romance, I would give second chance romance a second chance with this book. Now we're moving on to mystery thrillers, my personal favorite category. I've been such in a mystery thriller mood. Hi, Storm. Are you awake from your nap now? Storm's like, I'm awake from my nap and like I need attention like right now. Okay, let's not bite my phone. Okay, so mystery thriller category. I have 3 books for this. I've been so into mystery thrillers lately. Yes, Storm, just walk right there. Just put your butt right there. I've been so into mystery thrillers lately, I guess because it's October when I'm filming this. I have listened to so many like audiobooks of mystery thrillers. I've been on a mystery thriller kick. All 3 of these I picked out sound super interesting and I will be over the moon happy if any of them get selected. So the first one I think could be a possible prediction is Secluded Cabin Sleep 6 by Lisa Unger. So this one is about 3 couples. They go and rent out this luxurious cabin kind of like in the middle of nowhere, weekend getaway, and there they have a chef that's kind of telling them kind of about the spooky past of the house that they're in. Also too, they have their 2 Airbnb hosts, although it doesn't use the term Airbnb, but like their 2 hosts that they say are too present, and then just sinister things start happening. I love this. It is a locked room thriller, which are some of my favorites. I know forced proximity is kind of like a romance trope people think, but like a term people use for romance tropes, but I just love kind of that in mystery thrillers where people are kind of trapped in a place. It kind of gives me like the vibes of Daisy Darker by Alice Feeney, which I absolutely loved, and I'm currently reading The Island by Adrienne McKinty. I'm about 50% into it, and it's kind of like a similar thing. They're like trapped on this island. I just love that premise for a mystery thriller, so I'd be very happy if this is a selection. The next book I think could be a potential mystery thriller selection is The Personal Assistant by Kimberly Bell. So in this one you have our main character Alex, and she is a mommy blogger, mommy influencer, and she has her assistant AC. So she is a famous mommy blogger, and there is this huge scandal that breaks, and she's trying to get a hold of her assistant AC, and she can't get a hold of her, and therefore she is missing. And then she's like, wait, who is this girl? She starts doing a deep dive into her identity. She is not who she says she is, and it just sounds like a really interesting time. I love domestic thrillers, especially like involving like moms and like I love domestic thrillers, right? Like I especially love like white picket fence HOA neighborhood domestic thrillers. I love that shit, eat it up. So this is another one. Again, if this was a selection, I'd be super happy. The last book I selected for a potential mystery thriller pick is Small Game by Blair Braverman. So this is about a group of people who are cast in a reality TV show, Civilization, where they go basically live on this deserted island. It's kind of like Naked and Afraid, although they're not naked, but like, you know what I mean? It's about like living off the island, living off nature, and seeing how long that they can survive, and then they win prize money, but something goes horribly wrong, and they're a little confused. The contestants are confused. Is this part of the show? Is this like a last challenge? Is something just like going terribly wrong and we're all gonna die? Like, what is happening? And again, this just has such an interesting premise to it as well. Any of these, again, would be great selections for the mystery thriller category. The next book I have a prediction for, I don't know if it's considered fantasy or gothic fiction, or it could be considered both, and that is The Cloisters by Katie Hayes. In this book, you're following our main character, Anne, who's going to New York to be a curatorial assistant, like a curator of a museum, an assistant to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, but instead she gets assigned to The Cloisters, which is a gothic museum, and there she finds a really like old set of tarot cards, and that's kind of where the fantastical element comes in. And yeah, it's just that's what it's about. I don't know much more than that. It's really hard for me to like retain like synopsises of books that like I'm not interested in. So for like the next couple of books we're going to be going over, I have like more brief synopsises, or I'll just read you the little things from Goodreads, because you know, how do you retain a synopsis if you just don't care and you just like don't have interest in the book? I don't know. But here's The Cloisters. It could be a potential pick, especially because Book of the Month has been doing a lot of fantasy. I feel like they've been really heavy on the fantasy this year, and this seems to be like the only kind of like standalone fantasy, or like, you know, that I feel like they could pick in November. So there's that. So the next book I think could be a potential pick. Again, this one could also be classified as fantasy, but I also think you could classify it as magical realism, and that is The Wilder Woman, by Ruth Emmy Lang. And this author is also the author of The Beast of Extraordinary Circumstances, which not only was a Book of the Month pick in 2017, but it was Book of the Year. I believe it was Book of the Year, or is a Book of the Year finalist. So it got a lot of love from its members. So this is the next book. The author hasn't published anything since that 2017 novel. She is back with a 2022 new release. So I feel like Book of the Month has a big chance of picking up her latest release, because her last one did so well on the platform. Again, it was almost Book of the Year, or was Book of the Year. So in this book, you're following Nora, Zadie, and Finn. So Nora's the mom, then we go Zadie's the older sister, Finn is the youngest sister. And Nora goes missing. Now, Zadie is a psychic. She could see into the future, but she wasn't able to predict her mom's disappearance. And then you have the youngest daughter, Finn, and Finn, she has a very good memory. Not only can she remember like her own life and like every detail of it, she can remember other people's memories. So 5 years after her mom disappears, she starts having this memory, and there's a familiar song, and she's like, that leads her to believe that her mom is out there and her mom wants to be found. So she's trying to convince her sister that her mom's alive and they need to go find her. And that is kind of the premise for this book. It sounds really interesting. It seems like more of a magical realism book, right? Because it takes place in the real world, but the only like fantasy elements to it, or magical elements to it, are like the fact that she can remember other people's memories. Her sister is a psychic. So it just sounds like a really fun time, a really interesting novel. So there's this. It's kind of like a fantasy, magical realism mystery. Now moving on to historical fiction, I only have one prediction for this category, and that is The Lindbergh Nanny by Mariah Fredericks. And I'm just going to read you like the Goodreads blurb. It says, a powerful, propulsive novel about America's most notorious kidnapping through the eyes of the women, it's one woman. Through the eyes of the woman who found herself at the heart of this deadly crime. So this takes place in New Jersey, 1932, and it is about the kidnapping of Charles Lindbergh's son. So Charles Lindbergh Jr. is kidnapped. 1932, New Jersey. That's what this is about. It's about the nanny of the son that was kidnapped. So there you go. There's my one historical fiction prediction. But Book of the Month, I feel like they pick historical fiction every single month. So there you go. Now we're getting into just fiction. So this is a general fiction, literary fiction, contemporary fiction, just, you know, fiction is what we're going into. I have 3 selections, and honestly, I don't have the best synopsises for these ones. The first one I have is Now Is Not the Time to Panic by Kevin Wilson. I definitely think this one could have a great chance of being a selection because I've seen this on a lot of Book of the Month prediction lists. I've seen it just in general really hyped up on November like new release list as well. And also it has 511 ratings already on Goodreads and it doesn't come out till November 8th. So since it has a lot of ratings, I feel like it's like one of those books that people are pushing and hyping up. So that's why I kind of feel like it could be a selection. The next book I think could be a potential pick is A Quiet Life by Ethan Oyella. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So I'm just going to read you again a little Goodreads blurb about it. So this one says, it is a life-affirming novel about three individuals whose lives intersect in unforeseen ways. A Quiet Life follows three people grappling with loss and finding tender wisdom in their grief. It sounds like a fun time. No, it does not. I'm just kidding. It doesn't sound like a fun time. That's not what it meant to me. It sounds like a dramatic time. It sounds like I was gonna say heartwarming, but like maybe heart-wrenching, heartwarming, not sure. It could be both time. Yeah, so there's this one. The reason I have this one on the list is because he is the author of A Little Hope, which was a Book of the Month selection in November 2021. So he would be a repeat author. And the last book I have for just like general fiction, literary fiction, contemporary fiction, all that category is Aesthetica by Ali Rowbottom. So this book, I'm just going to read you the Goodreads blurb. In a debut novel as radiant as it is caustic, a former influencer confronts her past and takes inventory of the damages that underpin the surface glamour of social media. It says propulsive, dark, and moving. Aesthetica is a Veronica for the age of Instagram face, delivering a fresh, nuanced examination of feminism, Me Too, and mother-daughter relationships, all while confronting our collective addiction to followers, filters, and faux realities. Actually, I'm kind of like obsessed with the cover for this one. I don't know if I would actually select this one, but if it is a pick, I would consider it. I would consider it being one of my add-ons, but I definitely want to add on The Family Game by Catherine Sedman. Actually, I just got my hold from Libby for The Family Game, so I definitely am going to listen to that, and if I like it, I'll like end up ordering it from Book of the Month, because you know, like if you like something, obviously you have to buy it for your shelves. It's not like my shelves are already full and like, you know, but yeah, so you know, if not all of my add-ons are picked up, this could be one I might potentially pick if it is a selection. Now we're going to go into add-ons, ones that I'm predicting that are going to be possibly be add-ons in November. So I have 3 add-on predictions. Let's get into them. For my add-on predictions, the first one I have is The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama. Okay, it is November, nonfiction November. This is a nonfiction book written by a celebrity. I know Book of the Month for add-ons sometimes does celebrity memoirs, like, you know, is their add-ons. So we shall see if this is a selection. Honestly, Michelle Obama doesn't need Book of the Month because like she's gonna sell a million bajillion copies anyway, but it'd be cool if it was, because I would choose this as an add-on. Another add-on prediction I have is Bloodmark by Tracy Dion. So this is the sequel to Legendborn, and the reason I think it could potentially be an add-on, because I don't feel like Book of the Month does a ton of sequels, but Legendborn was a Book of the Month pick when it came out, so I feel like it would make sense if they had their sequel as an add-on pick. So I don't think it'll be a selection because again, it's a sequel. Not everyone would be able to select it, but it could be an add-on. So there you go. My last add-on prediction, my last prediction for this video is All the Broken Places by John Boyne. Now this is a sequel to The Boys in the Striped Pajamas. So let me just talk I have a few points to make about why I think this could be a selection. First of all, John Boyne, repeat author. Not only that, but I think it's called My Heart's Invisible Theories or Heart's Invisible Theories. The one with the pink cover, that was either a Book of the Year selection, like winner, or a Book of the Year finalist. So because he was a repeat author and his previous work did really well to make it to the finalist and or winner of Book of the Year, I feel like they would pick up his latest release. Also too, I feel like it has a good chance of being selected as a Book of the Month add-on because The Boy in the Striped Pajamas is such a famous book and this is the sequel to it. So you know what I mean? Like I feel like it could be a selection. I never read The Boy in the Striped Pajamas, watched the movie, and it broke my heart. So would I ever read this book? Probably not. Cause like maybe if I was in the mood to cry, but no. I hope he does well. I hope he sells a million copies. I will not be one of those people buying it though. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe, comment down below, tell me what you guys think the predictions might possibly be or what the selections might possibly be. Your predictions, comment them down below. I'm interested to see what the predictions, the selections are, especially now that I'm doing these prediction videos, because like I'm in a competition with myself. How many can I guess? So the last video I posted, Thistlefoot and Sign Here were correct based on the spoiler, but again, that's an in-app spoiler, so I'm not gonna like count that because that's like, you know, like a whatever. But just based on the other books, I got The Family Game right by Catherine Stedman and The Kiss Curse by Erin Sterling. So I mean, I didn't think The Kiss Curse was hard to pick because they did the XX. So I'm not saying I'm like super smart Einstein over here, but I'm like in a competition with myself now. How many can I guess correctly? I got 4 last month. If we're not accounting the in-app spoiler, then I got 2 last month. So let's see how many of these are correct. I would imagine if I ever have a perfect month where I guess like every book, that'd be crazy. But yes, I will talk to you guys in the next one. Subscribe down below. Bye.